Are you just saying it's straight middle field only, huh?
Middle of the field. But let's keep that off air. No one will know who I'm talking about.
No,
If
no
they can
one
hear
will
us
ever
right
know.
now. Hello, Giants fans.
No one will ever know. Let's wait a little bit for everyone to get in here.
Where's the tunes?
You got the Penguins on
Would
power
you
play
would you
here.
like some? Would you like some
More
music?
juice.
All right, what are we feeling? Lounge, chill, downtown tempo, lo-fi, hip,
Lounge.
lounge. Oh,
They call him Big Blue. Oh, is that lounge?
21 days.
Dean
right.
Myers wins. First
First.
message. What up, fellers?
What up, Dean? What up, Why Because?
Why? Because WB Mason.
The big.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are currently on a power play. Minute left in the power play. 4 minutes to go in the game. Nice save by Shesterkin. Dean, what did I win? Respect, my friend. Can't buy that in stores.
No.
What up, Blue City Empire Sports? Let's go, New York Giants. I'm glad that you specified New York Giants because we wouldn't have known who you were talking about if you just said "Let's go Giants."
It is baseball.
Well, this is the New York Giants podcast. But I love the specificity, Blue. We got another little fight. Malkin trying to fight Goodrow. Now another guy fighting Goodrow. Kreider getting involved. By the way, Kreider's only fought a few times, but he beat the hell out of everyone he's ever fought. New York Football Giants, let's make it a little longer. I like that, Dean. You ever see the fight where Kreider beat the guy up with his own helmet? Kreider punches the guy's helmet off, grabs the helmet, and hits him with it. It was the funniest thing. And let's go Yankees. I mean, I don't know if everybody agrees, but I think most people here would agree with that, including the three hosts. I don't know if I was a Mets fan.
I won't say if it was a Mets fan. All right, you guys ready? We'll be done with lounge and chill.
Yeah. Seahorn's pants falling off in coverage. Vaguely. I remember Seahorn ruining his career, blowing in his ACL, returning a kickoff against the Jets in a preseason game.
I think that's a very popular memory.
Jack, do you know anything about Jason Seahorn?
My boy. I have him. I think it's him, Kiki, and Strahan signed on a mini helmet together.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is it a mini helmet? Is it a mini helmet, or is it just a regular helmet that fits on your mini head?
It's one of these, but this isn't the one.
How did it come about?
Actually, my aunt had given it to me.
Oh.
I don't remember where it is now. I got a lot of stuff down here. So.
He got it from some woman named Ruth. Baby Ruth.
Dean just found his Charles Way jersey.
Charles, what was Charles Way's nickname?
Go ahead, Dean. Put it in.
You know it, Marco?
That's a jersey, you got to know.
Marco, do you know it?
I do, but I don't have it at the moment.
It's not like an extra thing. It just there it is. Charles, show me the way. He was a fullback. Jack, fullbacks were these guys that used to stand in front of the running back and
I'm a big fullback guy.
Wait, can you describe that? What do they do?
They stand in front of the running back and they would primarily block and open up some holes. When I was growing up, man, when I used to play like the video games, because no offense, I was the biggest Giants fan in the world, but the Giants sucked. They were just very boring in the 90s. I was never the Giants in the video games. I never wanted to be the best team because I was cheating. So I'd always be like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Allstott and Warwick Dunn. You know, that was like a go-to for me. But anyway, show me the way. Love it. Rangers aren't going. I mean, off topic. WB Rangers are not going to the Cup unless goaltending returns to elite status. I agree. I think their peak would be Final Four, and I'd be thrilled with that. Remember when running backs used to be relevant? Yeah.
When did running backs stop being relevant? What year was it?
I don't know. What would you say is the first era? I mean, Tomlinson was relevant. I mean, would you say It's weird though. I feel like Ezekiel Elliott in his first year was very relevant to the Cowboys offense, but then it's like I know
Yeah.
that's like
First
I don't
couple
know.
of years, I would say.
That's
He was
part of the
focal
reason why
point.
the Giants, I think, took Saquon, because where did the Cowboys take Zeke just before the Giants? Was it at like 5 or something?
Yeah.
The
Four.
Giants wanted Ezekiel Elliott. Anyway,
2010.
so what's up, boys?
Not much. I just want to do a little housekeeping because it's been, now that we're back, a little bit more regular. Are we feeling the Thursday schedule?
It's been working.
I think it works. Yeah, I think I'm down for whatever. I'm only going to be peeking to my left for the next minute and 26 seconds.
That's
But
maybe
yeah,
10
Thursday
times
works.
a week.
During the season, we might run into a couple of Thursday night football games.
That's all right.
Sure.
That's all right. You could
Yeah.
always, peek over the shoulder.
If the Giants have any primetime games for some reason, if the schedule was drunk.
They will. Because of the
But-
Giants.
Because of the Giants, it's true.
So for all the people that are new here, we do this weekly. We stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. All the comments will pop up. Sometimes Twitter won't show, but I can see you guys are there. And what else?
Write to us, guys. We want to hear from you. We've got our own takes, but we will respond to basically any. I was going to say any football-related question, any life-related question.
You go
You're
off
having
topic.
you're having some issues with your life right now. This is WGIANTS.
We go off topic. It's fine.
Dean starting it off. I'm starting to realize how sick of a safety tandem of McKinney and Hamilton would be. I would agree. We talked about that a little bit, and I'm a big Hamilton fan. My only thing is the importance of safety when we don't when we do have a lot of other holes. But yeah, that would be a sick duo. There's no doubt about it.
You can't underestimate the importance of safety, kids.
This is true. Life lesson number 1 from Will.
Rangers just scored a goal, empty net to go up 3-0, but I'm just trying to see who scored the empty net goal.
From Stan, are you guys worried that the Eagles same trade every team that will be looking for a QB in the 2023 draft class has an extra first-round pick, but the Giants and the Falcons?
Big time.
That is a concern.
Big time concern in my book.
But
Big time concern. That leaves the Eagles with 2 picks, the Lions with 2 picks next year, the Dolphins with 2 picks next year, and who is the other team? Seahawks. The
Eagles, Seahawks,
Dolphins, and Lions.
Dolphins and Lions
all have 2 first-round picks next season. All could use a quarterback, potentially.
Yeah, that's going to be tough, but we don't know how this draft is going to play out. Maybe they do pull a trade down and get an extra pick.
We have to hope maybe the Seahawks want to take somebody this year. That way they don't take someone next year.
Yeah, someone has to.
It's that weird in between. We have to almost root for Jalen Hurts to be at least average, but not enough to scare you. That way the Eagles stick with him and don't draft a quarterback next year.
Don't make a move, right?
But he doesn't absolutely go nuts, and we're like, damn, he's pretty good.
So if the Steelers like to trade up this year, and hopefully they fall in love with a quarterback this year, that'll put the Giants in a good position.
Big time.
But if they want to, I don't know.
I'm hoping for a trade back still. That's my number 1 strategy is tackle and trade back. That's what I would like to happen.
I would agree. And it depends what tackle you get. I mean, if let's say if the Giants really like Neil Ekwonu and they're both there at 5 and you don't really see much of a difference, you could just trade the 5 and pick one of them at 7. Or more likely, you're going to want to take a quarterback. I'm sorry, I'm completely distracted. Rangers won, and then there was a brawl at the end of the game. You could take just take your offensive tackle at 5. Don't mess around, and then just try to trade the 7. But then who's going to trade the 7? Who's going to take your quarterback? It's not easy. You can't always just trade. Teams don't always want to just trade. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it is interesting because I think Carolina, and this is obviously just a guess, but based on everything that I've read, I think they are leaning quarterback for sure.
Carolina.
And it seems like Pickett is the guy right now for them. I actually didn't know this, but Pickett was supposed to go to Temple University, and the coach was Matt Rule there. But then Matt Rule took the Baylor job, and that's why Pickett ended up with Pitt. So, a little fun fact on the relationship there. He was already supposed to be the quarterback for Matt Rule, who was the coach of the Panthers.
So there was an established relationship there, and then Matt Rule left for Baylor.
Yeah.
So he committed, or it was just strong interest?
I guess maybe I don't know if it was a commit, if it was a verbal. I'm not really sure. I heard it today on the radio, but he was supposed to go to Temple with Matt Rule as the head coach, and then Matt Rule went to Baylor instead, and then Pickett just ended up going to Pittsburgh.
So speaking of Pittsburgh, this is extremely relevant. The Penguins just did something I've never seen. There was a brawl to end the game, and they were not allowing the Rangers to stand at center ice and do their little celebration to the fans. They were standing there on the center ice instead, like in the Rangers' faces. It was like a whole big thing.
They were blocking.
And my cousin just texted me, "Dirtbag Penguins." All right, enough about that.
They were home. The Rangers were home.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, it was really interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a run on quarterbacks next year, overpaying. All right, let's see what WB always brings something my way. Hey, Will. NFL draft held a 3-round community draft for every fan. The War Room, curious your thoughts. 5 Neil, 7 Sauce. Oh, that was the one that I saw earlier today. Okay. 5 Neil, I'd be very happy. 7 Sauce, I would be content, not thrilled. I don't like taking D-backs that high, but if Thibodeau's off the board, I don't really think anyone's worth a 7 necessarily. So fine, I'd be okay with Sauce at there. 36 Ebikadi, I'd be happy with. There are like 3 edge rushers, maybe 4 with the Ajabo injury that I'd be cool with in like the second. If it's not a first round edge rusher, Ajabo I'd be excited about. Ebikadi I'd be excited about. Nick Benito I'd be excited about. And I believe it's pronounced Boye Mafe I'd be excited about. Like those are like my second and third round guys. So Ebikadi in the second I'd be cool. And then what does it say here? 67 and plus 2 23
plus next year's 4th and 5th for Carolina's second next year.
All right, so a trade of our
a trade for a future
picks, and then 81 Dulcich. I'd be happy with Dulcich at 81. He's a solid tight end. 81, that's fine. So yeah, if we walked out of this thing with Neil, Sauce, Ebikadi, and Dulcich, I'd be happy. I'd be content.
Yeah, it would be a pretty decent.
You guys,
draft.
There we go.
That would be a pretty decent draft.
Saluti, Marco and Will dropped by the office to pay our proper respects. Thank you. And saying hello. What's up?
Bellissimo.
Coming straight in from Italy. International podcast. See that there?
Look at all the double letters there. The double
T's,
the double Z's, the double R's. Thank you very much, by the way. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's going to be a run on quarterbacks next year, and I think there's going to be a lot of overpaying. I don't know. Are these guys going to be that good? What kind of year are they going to have? We're projecting so much into the future. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about next year's quarterback class. You've got like 5 teams that are just building up picks so that they can just unload and grab quarterbacks next year. Is that dangerous? What if look at Spencer Rattler? He was the number 1 quarterback coming into this year, and he ended up being benched like week 4. I mean, like, do we really know what's going to happen? I know these guys are a little more established. Like Jack, you and I talked about, these guys have a year or 2 under their belt. They show what they can do at a high level. But
I'm trying to not to step back from the moment as we look at next year and try to think about what I felt last year's QB class feeling. And I think it's definitely much stronger going into this year.
The
with college quarterbacks than it was with your Spencer Rattlers. It was like Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell were like the top 2 quarterbacks everyone was talking about for the first round, and then obviously they ended up being. I mean, Sam Howell will get drafted somewhat high. Rattler obviously is going back to college because he stinks. Next year's class is definitely stronger. Obviously, there's a lot to see over the next year with these kids.
Just the fact
the Giants are in a position where if Daniel Jones puts together a mediocre year, what choice do we have? What choice do we have? We have to prepare to go up and make a move for our quarterback.
See, just the fact that it is our rivals are loading up. They're going to have multiple picks. There's going to be a run on quarterbacks. It's just going to make it tougher for us. If Daniel Jones is middle of the road, that's really going to be difficult for the Giants. We need him to be the extremes. Horrible, or that's the guy.
That's what we always,
in the middle.
That's what we always talk about.
You're pretty
what
much
do you do if he's decent and the Giants win like 7 games?
Yeah,
right. We go 7-10. We have like the 12th pick, and then we're screwed. That's going to be tough to watch next year if it is bad, because it's just another lost season. But we don't have to go there right now.
No, I mean, we got any rumors? I mean, I think most people think that Jacksonville's taking Hutchinson number 1. Jack, you were telling me before the show about Thibodeau moving big time on the Vegas odds board. Tell us about that.
Take what you want from the Vegas odds movement for draft picks. I mean, I don't know where they get their information from, or is it strictly from people just betting on certain players to go higher based off of what they hear? But Thibodeau just went from plus 1,200 to go second overall to plus 450. That's a pretty significant jump in the betting world. That still doesn't place Thibodeau as the favorite to go second. That actually has him third still. I believe Walker is still number 1, and I believe even Willis is number 2. And then right behind is now Thibodeau.
And the idea of Walker going to Detroit is largely based on what people think about their coach and what kind of play he likes, correct?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has seen Dan Campbell. He's quite the character down there in Detroit, hard-nosed, defensive-minded coach.
We're going to rip off your face.
He gets real emotional. He loves it. If there's any truth behind the Thibodeau character issues, I don't know if I see him going for that type of guy. He doesn't, that doesn't seem like a match at all, which is why I would say Walker might be the pick there.
I'd love that so much.
Dan Campbell, former Giant, correct? Former Giant tight end?
I don't even know.
I think so. I believe so.
Really?
Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong.
If only there were a quick way.
Cool.
To look it up. I'm sure someone will beat me to it, but
oh, we got another look at this. You're spending all the rugby money over here. Tutu Azori is saying the entire rugby team is listening in as we speak, huh? Loves this.
He did play. Campbell was a Giant. Wait a minute. The whole rugby team. Giants YouTube. Oh, what's going on? I love how they keep just shafting Jack because he's not a Paisano.
I'm half.
Give him half a kudo.
Well, that's awesome. Wait, so they're just tuning in from Italy right now?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
International.
My grandfather was born in Bologna, so head up there. What do they have up there? That sparkling champagne kind of stuff.
Prosecco?
No, Bruce. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, so I guess if Walker were to go, I mean, McShay just had his mock draft on ESPN a couple of days ago, or last night, I think it was. And he went, I forget the order. I just know the Giants he gave. But he went with Hutchinson 1. I think he went Walker 2. Mm-hmm. He said there's no way Detroit's taking a quarterback. He went Thibodeau 3. So basically edges in the first 3, I think. And then at 4, he had the Jets taking
like Garrett Wilson.
No, I think it was a receiver. I think it was Wilson.
Yeah.
And then they had he had the Giants taking Aquanu at 5. And then he had the Giants. I forget what he had Carolina doing, but he had the Giants taking. He had the Giants taking Hamilton at 7, which I don't know. He's kind of an interesting guy, a little bit lost in the shuffle, I feel like, because he ran a subpar or not amazing 40, and all of a sudden he went from everyone's number one guy on the board to like, well, he won't be in the top 10.
Right.
I don't know if that's an overreaction.
I believe it is.
Do you guys think if they make 2 selections in the first round at 5 and 7, do you think they're going to split them?
Offense and defense?
Defensive side, or do you think they're going to go both?
I do.
I don't think they're going to split them because that's part of their game plan. I just think they need a tackle, and other than that, they wouldn't take anyone else on offense.
Yeah, I think it just falls that way.
I think it just falls that way. I think it's like we need a tackle, and then we could use a defensive player. So I think if I had to guess, do they split them? I'd say yes, but I don't think it's the strategy like let's split it up. I just think that happens to be what they need. They're not going to take a wide receiver on offense.
Well, when you have multiple holes on a team.
No, but they're not. What other offensive player are they going to take in the first round? They're not going to take 2 linemen. They're not going to take a receiver. They're not going to take a running back or a quarterback or a tight end. So the only offensive option is an offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stingley's pro day. I don't even know anything about Stingley's pro day. Do you guys know when was that?
Yeah, it was yesterday or the day before. He lit it up.
Did he?
Yeah, lit it up like in the 4.3 40 range. Like I saw conflicting reports of like 4.31 and 4.37 or something like that. So I'm gonna say it's back end of the 4.3s, which is still obviously lights out.
Yeah,
it was like a 38-inch vertical.
Wow,
something like that. You know how they have that RAS scale? Remember I've sent you a couple. Will they get it at a 10?
Okay.
Well, he had like
Not
a
really.
9.9.
The RIS scale?
I think it's RAS. I forget what it stands for, but it's like a metrics analytics scale that measures like their size, their speed, their strength, and their agility, all combined into a score of 10. And then it's like rated between guys from now since like 2010 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was high.
You know how I feel, Jack, about pro day testing, though.
Right.
It's all rigged. You got to take it with a grain of salt.
Well,
It's put together by the colleges and by the players and the agents. The cones are a little closer together. The stopwatches, they say you can't trust them. Who knows if the height machine, if they dig it into the, if they dig it into the dirt a little bit more. I don't fully trust everyone's pro day. No one's he had a bad pro day. It's always, did you see the pro day? He ran a 4.1 and jumped through the roof. He hit his head. I don't buy pro day numbers. It's a decent barometer in general, but I don't trust it as gospel at all.
But back to Stingley, I wasn't really concerned about his numbers anyways. I'm more concerned about his play and if he's consistent. When he was a freshman in college, he was the best corner in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
That was not even an argument. And he was hurt a little bit last year, and combined with his sophomore year, he was kind of like, he was good. He wasn't great. He wasn't like that freshman year. So it's kind of like, which player are you getting?
And that's what's so weird about this draft is that you've got so many guys that are first rounders that are kind of riding the coattails of what they did freshman year.
You do.
Stingley's best year was his freshman year. Karlaftis' best year was his freshman year. Hamilton's best year arguably was his freshman year. Thibodeau's best year arguably was his freshman year. So it's just a really weird thing. Now, first of all, Lou asks an interesting question. You guys think there's any chance they go OL in both the 5th? And there you go, Marco. You're on top of it. And 7 picks. Do I think there's a chance they do? No. But for months, I've been saying Ekwonu would be the best guard in this draft. And if somehow I wouldn't take like Cross and Neal, but if I could grab Ekwonu and Neal or Ekwonu and Cross, I would consider it. And I put that poll up on Twitter, and like 65 or something % of the people said that they would do it as well to pick up 2 stud linemen. And all of a sudden you've got this amazingly, this amazingly great young offensive line moving forward. But I don't think there's any chance the Giants would do it, especially because Wink Martindale scares the other coaches and he's our defensive coordinator.
There's just no chance Ekwonu And I'm with you, but there's just no chance that someone's going to draft Aquano and immediately put him to guard. He will be a tackle to start out his career, whether he stays there or not. Obviously, we'll see. I mean, you know me. I would take a look at Linderbaum. I love Linderbaum. He's not going top 10, but I think he's a very safe pick in this draft that you could say that's my starting center for the next 8-ish years. We'll see how good he is, but I think he will be no doubt a starting center in this league for the foreseeable future.
Now, Duran has given me some love. Will's recent mock draft was crazy in a good way. Yes, I ran a mock draft 2 days ago, and I threw it up on Twitter, and I got 126 responses, 24 retweets, 365 likes. And I was really upset because I screwed up accidentally. I took 2 running backs. I forgot I took a running back. So with my last pick, I took another running back instead of a wide receiver. But my draft went like, I don't know if I should just read it out or if it's coming through.
Yeah,
read it out. So I grabbed Aquano at 5, Thibodeau at 7, which if I got those things, I wouldn't care what the rest of the draft was like. I wouldn't care. That's it. That's fine. Nakobe Dean at 36, which was a big drop, big shock. We are kind of getting them there a lot on Draft Network. Isaiah Likely at 67, Breece Hall at 81, Lindstrom, IOL at 112, which I might have gone with a different guy. I wasn't thrilled with that pick. Kobe Bryant, the cornerback, at 147, JT Woods at safety at 173. And then I meant to take Justin Ross. I accidentally clicked on Tyler Algier, the running back. But those last few picks aren't as important. I think people were really freaking out about Aquanu, Thibodeau, Dean, Likely, and Hall. And I don't know how it's going to fall. I got an even better one, by the way, guys, coming out. I was going to do it the very next day, but I think I have an even better draft. I ran a couple of them by Jack and got some of his opinions. I got some pretty cool stuff. So I think next week I'm going to drop one and maybe get even a little bit higher marks on it. But
finer touches on it. And
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Duran, I am loving the icon that you're choosing over there with the LT Tech Mobile. I think that's pretty cool.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is.
Wait, did we get another donation from Super Chat from Tutu Azuri?
Did we? Let's see. Yes, we did.
I mean, this is huge. Haven't had any days off for the last 4 months, traveling. He's big on the abbreviations. Practicing and playing for both World Cup Finals tournament and our national teams at the same time. So these guys are like legit. They're like Team Italy. This isn't like some like high school thing. I mean, I don't. His avatar is pretty legit too. I mean,
when you're in that shape,
it's a picture of Marco with his shirt off.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
I remember seeing this comment last week. And it's from Connor. He says that the Texans have 2 tackles. What 2 tackles are we talking about here? Obviously, Tunsil's good, but they don't really have another good tackle on their team. I remember going by PFF looking at it. They don't have anybody at right tackle. It's actually abysmal. So I don't know. I remember seeing someone say that last week, and I was like, wanted to fact check myself. I don't see 2 tackles on that team.
Tuto, thank you again for the donations. Yeah, I don't know about their other tackle. Is Lindstrom really falling that far? It's tough. The mid rounds, that might even be high for him. Honestly, he might end up going like 5th round. Strange is a mid rounder. Benito is really rising for me. I've been high on Benito since the very beginning. I mean, his pass rush win rate is the best in the country. His tackles for a loss plus sacks per game compared to his level of competition, a little something that I like to look at. Him and Hutchinson were the 2 best in the country. It's weird how he's not ranked higher. All the numbers are there. He's not huge. He's like 6'3", maybe 250, but that's not that small. I think he tested very well. So he's like an under the radar guy. I don't know if that extra inch or 2 of height is a big deal to people when it comes to an edge rusher, but yeah, I mean, if they got him in the second, he'll probably go like late second, something like that, I would think. Let me see here. Strange. Yeah, in the mid rounds, anyone like Parham, like Strange, Kennard, as an IOL, he's fallen off a little bit for me. Who else is there that I like? Is it Ed Ingram?
Yeah.
I think he's pretty solid. And then there's a lot
Parham?
I said Parham, but then like Thayer Munford or whatever his name is, I've seen
Oklahoma.
I've seen him in the early third, and I've seen him there in the seventh on certain mock draft sites. I don't know. And then there's the one dude, Fortner.
Yeah,
I wasn't
Kentucky.
that impressed watching him, and I don't think he had such a great combine. But I know people just think that his numbers are real solid. Is he from Kentucky or Duke?
Yeah, Kentucky.
Kentucky. But wait, mix him up with Linderbaum. Who's Duran talking about?
I don't know.
Is Linderbaum falling that IR?
Duran,
Yeah, I know they drafted Titus.
Oh, Lindstrom. Oh, okay. He said Lindstrom. Is Linderbaum falling? Linderbaum's interesting. I don't know, because some people, he was talked about for a long time being a top 10 guy, and now all of a sudden you're seeing him in a lot of these mocks, or even, not just from the machine mocks, but literally from, literally some people don't even have him going in the first round anymore. Some of the top mock drafters, and the numbers and the percentages and the experience, and Iowa is a lineman factory, but it really just comes down to his arm length. Is that really the reason? I mean, he's a little bit undersized, but
we looked it up last year. They were same size as Justin Hughes too.
What?
We looked up his arm length last week, and they were basically the same size as Justin Hughes, and he's going to play.
No, Hughes were longer.
They were.
But
not that much, correct? No. I remember looking at
every quarter of an inch is a lot in these measurements. It's like saying, well, he's only 0.2 of a second slower in the 40.
Do you want me to go there or no?
So look at this. We're rich.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah, Marco, I want to see a cut of this stuff. There's no joke.
I'll gladly send it to you.
Jack, I know you have a feeling Linderbaum is going to be the best player in this whole draft.
I think he's close to the safest player in this entire draft when it comes to projecting college prospects being NFL starters. Yeah, we'll see how good he is, but I'm the most confident in probably Linderbaum and Hutchinson staying consistently as a starter in this league for their career.
But what about when someone goes to give Linderbaum a high five and they can't get it done?
He'll just shove you in your chest and put you on your ass.
Not if you're standing 1 foot away from him. It's going to be like in those cartoons where someone's got his hand on the head and Linderbaum's there swinging his arms.
Italy versus Wales game in Cardiff. Okay.
2 weeks ago, I carried my entire team with 32 hard tackles. Well, he gets really excited about those tackles. He was hard. 4 forced fumbles to win. Wow. Tuto is really talking about himself there. He carried his whole team. Now, I know he said his whole team's watching, so maybe he's kind of saying it in jest. Otherwise, he's just a very confident young man. Drake Johnson, I don't know. That'd be more of a you, Jack. I don't really know much.
Does he mean Drake Jackson?
Drake Jackson?
Yeah,
or
I don't
Jermaine
know
Johnson.
Who Drake Johnson is. Edge rusher, USC.
Is the love child of Drake Jackson and Jermaine Johnson, I think.
What happens when they got together?
I had someone asking me today. They thought that that they liked Jermaine Johnson better than they did Thibodeau, and I mentioned Thibodeau's Jackson there. We'll get to that in a second. I mentioned Thibodeau's arm length and how quick he is, and the guy said actually that Jermaine Johnson's arms measured longer than Thibodeau. I didn't fact check it, and that he had a quicker first 10 yards in the 40, but. Thibodeau's pass rush win rate's just so much better. It's like 10 points higher. It's like 24% or something as opposed to 14%. He's also, people out there listening, I mean, think about this. Thibodeau is 23 months younger than Jermaine Johnson. Like, that's a big deal. That's a full 2 years younger. Like, Thibodeau's a junior. Some of these guys that are juniors, you got to consider that, because not only does it mean they're going to get better, like imagine Thibodeau when he's Jermaine Johnson's age, but it's also like, if you're going to get these guys for 8 years, would you rather get them from 21 to 29 or from 23 to 31? Like, the production years are also a little different. So that's something if two guys are close and one guy's 2 years younger, that's always something that I consider.
Yeah,
like last year, what's his face? Ojulari, he was like 16. He was honestly, he's the second youngest guy in the entire draft last year. I think maybe to Kyle Pitts. So I was like, that's a little extra where Kwity Paye was like, on Social Security already. He was in like, he's like senior citizen. So I do take those things into account. Dude, Tudo's giving us his body measurements. Jack, don't forget to hit on the Drake Jackson point.
Yeah. I actually
6'4", 258, 35-inch arm length, 8% body fat, 6th year All-Pro, first team, 3 World Cup winner, defensive rookie of the year, 2-time MVP runner-up, slacker, and nightmare for everyone, OT all day. I don't know what OT all day means unless he's talking about if he would be an offensive tackle in the NFL. Also, is Tudo talking about himself?
I'm not sure anymore.
What is going on? Maybe it's not translating correct.
Do you know why I think he might be lying? Because I know their metric over there, and he's dropping the 6'4" inches. It sounds a little too imperial to me. But hey, God bless him. I'm 6'4", 257, so he's got me by a pound. It's a joke. So let's see. Would you take Drake Jackson in the 3rd? Yeah, I would take him in the 3rd. Yeah, I would take him in the 3rd. Do you think he falls that far? I don't know enough about him.
Drake Jackson, before this season, he was one of those who was projected top 15 pick. He's one of the handful of players that are 21 years or younger, if I'm not mistaken. So there's another thing to consider. He just kind of had like average pedestrian numbers this year. They didn't. That's why, and that's I guess why he's fallen all the way to a day 2 pick. But I'm a fan of Drake Jackson. I think because he's that young still, he maybe have to develop a little more. And I think the ceiling is higher for Drake Jackson in the 2nd or 3rd round than, maybe a guy like Ebiketie, to be honest, even though Ebiketie might be better right away. That's my thought. I kind of like Drake Jackson.
Yeah, I'm not opposed. I'm definitely not opposed to that. So Jermaine Johnson, is he too high? Connor wants to know at 7, or he's saying he is too high. Yeah, I think he's too high there. I have him in the late teens.
Connor with the comment of the night, by the way.
Just now, wait, hold up. So for Connor, Jermaine Johnson, I even see some people mocking him to the Jets at 4. I hope the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't think like I said, I have him in the late teens. I like him. I mean, he does everything well. He's just very good, but I'm not sure how much better he's gonna get. But he's solid pass rusher, solid run stopper. He's got pretty good moves. He's pretty quick. He's pretty strong. He plays the run well. So he's a good player. I don't mean to undersell him, but I wouldn't quite put him as a top 10 guy. But if we traded back and got him, with New Orleans or Pittsburgh's pick, something like that, then yeah, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, home run.
So Jack likes Connor's latest.
Arguably the best player in the entire draft.
So Marco.
Yeah, Marco, do you know this guy?
Here's a conversation that I've had, right?
I briefly, yes.
A big board, an NFL big board, is supposed to be regardless of position. Mm-hmm. Like you could have Saquon Barkley number 1 in your big board, but not think you should go in the top 25 picks. You understand, right? You agree with that's what a big board is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a big board is. It's just how good at their position they are going to be, right?
Correct.
So if everyone's saying Matt Araiza, I thought it was Azera, whatever, Araiza, if everyone's saying he's the greatest punter in the last 30 years, shouldn't he be number 1 on everyone's big board? I've seen him at 100, but if a big board is truly a big board, it's like saying Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer. He's the best player at what he did. He's number 1 of his era, but you might not pick him first overall. You might take a Griffey or a Trout, but if this guy really is if he's better as a punter than Hutch is as a edge and that Hamilton is as a safety, shouldn't a punter be number 1 on the big board?
So I think you're getting all the positional value guys really, really upset.
Matt Araiza.
No, but what is a big board? If someone said, what is a big board? How would you describe it?
I would think it would be a combination of both. It would be
really?
A big board would be 100 100 best players, whatever. But your board would be the combination of best players and positions of need.
No, but if you're just putting together, if you're PFF or you're one of these, then you're just putting together the best football players coming out this year. If he's a better punter than anyone else is at any of their positions, shouldn't he be the number one overall player on the big board?
No, but
and still get taken in.
I don't think it would be. I think still positional value. If you have
kickers and punters just don't count.
Right.
Well, they just don't count.
So what you're saying then is that like if you have
a mediocre quarterback would be more enticing than a dominant punter.
But then how come there's only like 3 quarterbacks on anyone's board this year? If they're that much, they're 10 times more important than everybody else. Everyone's big board every year would have 30 quarterbacks. I think I'm right. I think people just look at a punter and would never do that. But
I just like him because he can punt the ball about 80 yards.
Anyway, I'm taking him number 1 overall.
Overall, that's what the new mock next week is going to have.
Jelani Woods, Jelani Woods is gaining a lot of attention lately, and I've been taking him later. Is he from Virginia?
Virginia Tech, I believe.
Virginia Tech. Again, if we grabbed him in a later round, that's cool. I don't know if he's much of a receiver. I know he's got the tools, but I don't know if he did it a ton. But I know he's been impressing people a lot at combines and pro days.
Ran like a 4.6. It's like it's like crazy.
Absolutely. So I guess the big question is, we all kind of feel like the Giants are going to have an here's another thing I want to bring up. Are we overestimating how easy it's going to be for the Giants to pick up an offensive tackle of choice in this draft? Because I think it's like a 35% chance Jacksonville takes a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 50-50 or a 40% chance that Houston takes one at 3. I think it's about a 35% chance the Jets take one at 4. If you do the numbers, it's still very feasible that Neal and Ekwonu go before number 5 even happens. And then we have the conversation of, do we take Cross at 5 or do we take Sauce or Hamilton or someone else and then hope that Cross is there at 7? And if he's not, then we're trying to like trade back into the first to get like Penning in the 20s or something. And then that's a penalty factory waiting to happen. So it's a dangerous game once you pass on Cross. I don't know what you guys are thinking about this.
I would be shocked if 2 tackles go in the top 4, but it could happen. But I'd be shocked at this moment.
Shocked?
I would be.
You'd be shocked if Houston and either the Jets. So you said yourself you think the right move is for Jacksonville to take a tackle.
Yeah, and I don't think they will.
Right, and you don't think the Jets are going to do it either.
No, or the Lions.
Connor,
if it did happen,
Connor wants to know if I put a long snapper number 1 on the big board, and the reason I would say no to that is because almost every long snapper converts an almost perfect long snap almost every single time. So there's no way that one guy could differentiate himself that much as a long snapper where he'd be that valuable to a team. A punter can be that much better if he's kicking it 20 yards deeper and pinning everybody on the 1-yard line, but there's not enough differentiation between long snappers to put one guy that's that much better as a long snapper than anyone else is at their position. So served.
You got served?
Whoa, now we got the big bucks coming in from Tuto.
Are these liras? What's going on over here?
Now it says USD. Dude, don't tell him how much he's giving us. Now we got to put all of his things up. I've been training with JPP when I was 14 years old in Jersey. Is that New Jersey?
That's Jersey.
When he was drafted by the Giants, my older brother, mentor, and teacher, Clay Matthews, Never Need to Lie Jr. of USC, same time with Leo to learn speed rush tech.
All right.
Maybe talking about Jackson.
All right.
Maybe we should. What's up, dude?
Maybe he's talking about Jackson with the USC. Drake Jackson.
No.
Where did he's talking about who he's training?
Where did Leonard Williams go?
USC.
That's what he's saying. Tudo is saying he was in America training with these NFL players.
Well, I don't know what he means by junior, but I know it's Drake Jackson Jr., so I was just trying to put it together. Oh, Clay Matthews Jr. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. No, I understood it. It was Jack who's got his mind in the gutter somewhere. All right, so Tudo is legit. I'm gonna look him up right now. You
Wait,
guys
hold on.
converse amongst yourself.
All right. Who is Tuta? This one's out to you. Who is the head coach of the Italian national team for rugby? Let's see. Let's see the speed on this one. Put it in. Put it in the channel. Put it in.
This is riveting, guys.
Riveting.
You can't talk amongst yourselves
No.
while I'm looking something up.
No, zero.
We're asking Tuto a question.
Yes.
How long does it
don't
take
know.
you to look that up?
Anyway,
So people got upset with me.
Really?
I casually mentioned on Instagram that I like Sauce Gardner, and everyone went nuts. I don't know what that was
Really?
about. Yeah,
I feel like most people like Sauce Gardner for the Giants. So that's
I was getting the he's too cocky. We're not talking Deion Sanders over here.
Really? Okay. I mean, that's Deion Sanders. That's a bit of a
Stretch.
reaction. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have to be Deion Sanders.
I thought so too.
I said this to Will a few weeks ago, and I agree he is a little cocky, but you almost like as a corner, like if you look at these elite corners in the league, they all have that like cockiness to them. I'm not thrilled with like the cockiness, but it seems like they almost need it for that position. I would say, and I'm sure I'm going to get heat for this, I would say corner's probably the hardest position to play.
why would you get heat for that?
Because I'm sure someone else is a different position or played a different position in this group and has come to say that's not true.
I don't think you get heat for that. I think everybody pretty much agrees that unless you're going to say quarterback because of all the plays.
Right. I was kind of.
But I think everyone always says corner is the hardest, most thankless position in all sports to play. Corner.
You also have wide receivers being the biggest divas in the NFL right now, so the corners have to go against that. It kind of just. I'm not worried about Sauce's cockiness. Will, you said it like a few weeks ago how like he is like 100% football 100% of the time. Like he even like said he doesn't drink, he doesn't do anything. Like he's all about the football.
Wait a minute. CBS described Kayvon Thibodeau as mercurial before Will did. All right, Connor. Maybe that's why the word. I don't
Connor
watch
with the inside info.
I don't watch CBS. I don't read CBS anything. I don't think that's where I got that from. It's possible I did see it and it's seeped into my subconscious, but not that I'm aware of. But Bo Melton was at Giants local pro day.
Yeah, they also had a Penn State linebacker. And
local pro day literally means they're just working out local people. Yeah. Why would that be a thing?
Yeah. And
why would that be a thing? You're a $1 billion franchise. You're a $1 billion franchise. Why would you have a special day for people that can get there by driving to your stadium? Why wouldn't you just take the people you actually like and just fly them in? I don't get that. It's not a charity. We're not running a high school here. Come on down, folks. The Giants want to see you try out. Live in the New York, New Jersey area. I don't understand that. This isn't like I don't understand what that means.
It's not the 80s.
It's not Vince Papale over here.
So did you guys see? I wanted to run this by you. Did you guys see how Joe Shane pulled his last resort and restructured Adoree Jackson's contract to save $6 million? You saw that?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't
Any
really
thought behind that? Because I have a theory behind that. Through no evidence, but
you think it's something more than just trying to get money under.
Yeah, so
the cap.
Looking ahead 1 year, or even right now, I believe our three biggest contracts cap hit wise are from Leonard Williams, Kenny Galladay, and Adoree Jackson. So obviously, to save a lot of money, you got to restructure one of them this year if he needed to go that route, which I guess he did. But my theory is, out of those three players, I think Adoree Jackson's probably the most likely to get an extension from the Giants next season, which is another way of decreasing the cap hit. Because now his cap hit next year is like 19 point something million, which is absurd. But if he gets extended, that will probably go down.
Take it,
And
yeah.
I think he probably gets extended way more than I do Leonard Williams or Kenny Galladay. We've heard how an Adoree Jackson with his speed and man coverage is supposed to flourish in Wink Martindale's system. I believe he's only 26 years old. I think that's, looking ahead a little bit, I think that's an extension candidate for the Giants next year.
We will write that down. Boom. Adoree Jackson.
April 7th, 2022. Mark it down.
Yeah, he'll be 27 basically by the beginning of the season. He was pretty good last year.
Yeah, he was good. I don't know if they release James Bradbury, I don't know if he'll be able to handle all the wide receiver ones, but I do like Adoree a lot.
And still, I have heard nothing about James Bradbury. That has totally died down.
I've actually heard worse news about it, that apparently the Chiefs are not that interested in trading for him.
Because, I mean, the Giants need $10 million cap going into the draft, right?
12 million. Yeah, 12.
And we're at what?
6, 7. Yeah.
So, I mean,
they can't just do IOUs. I don't know. Like, I'll get it.
Are they just going to cut Daniel Jones, or that's still not going to get them there? What's he making?
He is making a fully guaranteed year.
Lou is saying, are Kenny and Adoree going to turn things around this season? That's what we are all hoping.
Well, I think Adoree was fine last year.
I think Adoree was good last year. He's better than Bradbury.
Galladay, I know myself and Kenny Galladay both finished the season with the same amount of touchdown catches.
Right.
I had a pretty good year.
Congrats.
Surprise. Also myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Jack had one less. But -1. He accidentally ran the wrong way. He did the old Jim Marshall.
I gave a touchdown to the other team.
You guys know who Jim Marshall is?
No.
Marco?
You hit the Google machine? No, I don't.
Jim Marshall, before all of our times, really good player. I believe a Minnesota Viking. I believe a defensive lineman, and he's famous, unfortunately, for picking up a fumble, running the wrong way, about 70 yards, and then spiking the ball so it goes out in the end zone. So it goes as a safety instead of what he thought was a touchdown.
Well,
so that's probably the biggest blooper in the history of the NFL, a guy scoring a touchdown in the wrong end zone. WB was over it. Just took him a little longer to type it than it took my mouth to say it. But Galladay, I have no idea, man. It all comes down to
can't get any worse.
Offensive line, Daniel Jones, the plays that they call. Galladay. Remember though, we saw a couple of plays with him.
I know.
What's up?
We've seen him play on a bad team in Detroit. They had a better quarterback.
Right.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah, I mean, last year, remember, it kind of ended on a sour note with him because early in the season, he had that really nice play in the fourth quarter. I would have been
pissed if I was him too, though.
Hmm?
I would have been pissed if I was him too.
He had that really nice play early on in the fourth quarter against the Saints that helped spring the Giants. It was like a slant, and he took a nice hit, spun off it, ran an extra 15, 20 yards. It helped the Giants force overtime, and that at the time was the biggest win of the year. But then toward the end of the year, it just – remember that one play? It was like one of the last games. He just gave up on that ball. Everybody was asking him about it. He was deep down the sideline, and he could have just stretched his arms out and caught a touchdown. It was like a 50-yard play, and he just didn't even make an effort for it. The crowd was actually like booing him. Like, it was just weird. I know he had an attitude in Detroit. So, I don't know. He like basically sat out the last like 9 games and said he was injured, but like wouldn't say what it was. So, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the deal is going to be with him. I don't know. I'm not looking for. I don't want to get. You really want to see people come out of the haters here, but I just don't want to see them like hand the ball off to Saquon and have him just like dance around back there and just like not get any yards, and then the backup goes in and just gets like an easy 5 yards up the middle. Like I just can't do that anyway, man. I'm sorry. I got nothing against him, but I just want a fresh back. I just do.
Me too.
So.
I know.
Anyway, let's try to slip out of that comment before everybody starts. All of a sudden,
I know people will point to the offensive line, and we played this game last year. How we went through the hypothetical that the offensive line could be better than now 2 years ago if all 4 players that were awful played better. You remember that?
Yeah.
Will?
What is it?
With Shane Lemieux, we thought he might be able to play better. Obviously, he was hurt week 1 out for the year. Matt Pert, we thought would be better than Solder. That ended up not to be true. And Gates, but Gates is also hurt. But going into this year, like I guess at this point I'd be stunned if we don't take a tackle in the first round. Unless the people that we pick could just blow, which would just be a total gut punch. We should see a significant improvement on the offensive line because it was that bad last year.
Well, you got to figure. Yeah, I mean, if at right tackle we just get some. I was thinking about it the other day. My expectations, what they would be. I would expect if you're looking at like bad, below average, average, good, and like great at like a 5 scale like that. I would picture Thomas to be good. Yeah. I would picture Glowinski to be good.
Yeah.
I would picture. I would put our center to probably be Feliciano to probably be below average, maybe average, but that might be being optimistic. Right guard. Why am I forgetting this right now?
Well, I don't know where Glowinski's going to play. He was a right guard for the Colts, so either
Who's
way.
The other guard though? Scora or whatever.
And they have like a combination of like.
No, they just got another guy, a new guy.
Yeah, Lemieux still on the team. They brought in another veteran.
Bad. And then maybe you could get average out of Evan Neal or Ike McQuanu or something like that. Even though Thomas would, I don't know how you grade his rookie year, but if you could get that, you could be looking at, like, let's say from left to right, good. Well, if I was going to go below average, so above average, average, below average, average.
Oh, good. No.
So you're looking at an average offensive line, which is all that I've been asking for.
God forbid they actually take another interior offensive line in like the 3rd or 4th. Like, I'm not saying that's going to be like a definite solid player, but right now that's got to be an upgrade over the other guard position we have opposite of Glowinski.
Maybe not initially. We've seen how rookies can struggle.
I don't know, man. We'll see. But we don't really have anyone that's startable for the other guard.
Now, what WB wants us to do is a mock draft where everyone's team fans are angry at the picks. What would that be for the Giants? So I think the one guy I know me and Jack don't want to see the Giants take is Walker. Yeah. But obviously there are worse things. I mean, they could take in theory, they could take a 3rd rounder in the first. They could pull a Cleveland Farrell or a Daniel Jones when someone thinks they should go nowhere near number 1, and they take them nowhere near a first. But a realistic player the Giants could take that I'd be upset with would be like Penning.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Penning
Walker. And I'm trying to think of who else is like in that range. A wide receiver.
Like I said on my Instagram, it would be Sauce. People seem to get really up in arms. But...
Dude, I don't know about that, man.
That's crazy to me.
All right, here's some polls that I've done. I'm going to look this up here. I polled some Giants fans because I did
ticket.
So here's what we got. Giants fans, we grab an offensive tackle at 5. We cannot trade the 7. Who do you take? Gardner or Thibodeau, if you had to choose between the two of them? 71% said Thibodeau, 27% said Gardner, 2% said other. But those are the 2 main guys. I've done those polls before. I did one. Giants grab an offensive tackle at 5. Gardner and Thibodeau are gone. They cannot trade the 7. Who do you take? My options I put were Hamilton, Johnson, Linderbaum, and Walker. Walker 52%, Hamilton 33%, Linderbaum 9%, Johnson 6%. And then I said, I know this will not happen, but just for fun, I think Aquanu would be a great guard. How would you feel if at 5 and 7, either order, the Giants grab Neal and Cross to play offensive tackle and Aquanu to play offensive guard? And 60% said, heck yeah, OL dominance. My little option that I put there. 40% said not too many other needs. So
here's a good question another one by Duran. What would be your impression of Schoen if he bombs the draft on paper?
I'd be upset.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not giving any guy leeway. I know you got to say like wait and see, but I don't know. I always try to give
like
other
the
people benefit of the
bombs.
doubt.
Yeah, I'd be upset. I'd almost be shocked.
I
Like I'm
couldn't
gonna be
take it. I couldn't
shocked.
take it. Draft night has become like the worst night of the year for me over these past few years.
Like for him
And
to
I'm
bomb.
more nervous than anything. Like I used to go into the draft like this. And now I go into the draft.
Who we
like
getting?
this.
Now it's like, who we getting?
So it used to be who are we going to get? Now it's who are we going to pass on?
I mean, I guess bombing on paper would be the. I can't even say Walker would be bombing.
No, that
'cause I
wouldn't be considered
understand.
bombing on paper.
Like a penning
No.
over like a cross or
Yeah,
the other
bombing
two,
on paper
I
would be like penning or
would
taking
lose
like
like a receiver.
or grabbing like Dean at 7 and like Linderbaum or like penning at 5 or taking just something random.
Yeah,
Or like McDuffie at 5 or 7, like some
punter.
it's gonna
punter. I mean, if Azera drops to us at 5, which I don't think he will, Areza, I would take
Number one on a lot of boards, I heard.
like Jermaine Johnson at 5. I'd be like, guys, God, that's a reach. I'm happy we're gonna get a DN, but that's a reach.
Yeah.
I literally dropped my phone. And I was FaceTime with my family when they selected Jones. I think I broke it. When I was like, the Buccaneers, I'm like, oh my God, please say White. Please say Devin White. Please say Devin White. Because I thought they were going to take Josh Allen. I'm like, oh my God, imagine they didn't take him because Josh Allen was supposed to go like number 2 that year, number 3.
Yeah.
And they go Devin White. And I'm like, oh my God, we got Josh Allen. You got to be kidding me. And they're like, the Giants select. Just kidding, Daniel Jones. I was like, and I did the Chaz Palminteri in Usual Suspects, and my phone went down, and I was just like, oh my God. Although, granted, what is Josh Allen? I mean, he's pretty much done what we thought. He's not great against the run, but a really solid pass rusher.
Yeah,
right?
he's a good player. He hasn't been. I don't think he's been as great as or as good as we thought he was going to be, but he's good.
And by the way, I'm still not a Daniel Jones hater. I still use the Pat line that I think you can win games with him. I just don't think he's going to win you games. He could beat Eli Manning without the magic, which is a 500 quarterback with no Super Bowls. So I do think that if you build a really good team around Daniel Jones, you can win some playoff games with him. He could take you. Yep. He could be Dak Prescott, but I don't think he's going to be a guy who you can just say, put the ball in Dak's hands, put the ball in Jones's hands, and sit back and watch him go win us this playoff game. I don't think it's ever going to be that. And if you're picking a quarterback number 6 overall, when the next year you could have had Justin Herbert, you want that guy who's going to take you to the promised land on his shoulders.
Yeah, how to bring him up.
Who?
Justin Herbert. That was who I wanted.
Yeah. That was my plan for the Giants.
That's what I wanted.
My plan for the Giants, if I was the GM, it would have been Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Rashawn Slater, instead of Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, Kadarius Toney, and whoever we get in this year's.
When he came back for an extra year, I was like, oh, he wants to play with his brother. I was like, oh,
loser.
I was like, we'll draft the brother too. Don't worry.
We're gonna put him up
it's fine.
in a hotel right next to the stadium. It's gonna be good.
Let me offer you a David Wilson for the stink of Bird Mac and Justin Herbert.
I don't understand that. Explain that to me.
So David Wilson, he was
David Wilson.
Yeah, I know. Flip Wilson. I got you. What about it?
The sting.
But I don't understand why.
I believe he's saying that David Wilson was a pick that Jerry Reese made, and people were excited. He was an excited player.
What does that have to do with Justin Herbert?
That we had the excitement of a good pick.
That's not what he's saying at all.
Then what is he? Then you translate. Go ahead.
I can't. That's why I asked you. But you're saying that Durant is saying, Will, don't feel bad that we lost Herbert because we got the great David Wilson who played a year and a half for us? I don't understand. Jack, what does that comment mean?
The softest thing.
I don't really know.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think he's trying to say, like, you never know what you're going to get. So you
because
can't.
David Wilson.
Right. He had that spinal stenosis stuff. He had that injury, right?
Yep.
I still don't understand what the hell it has to do with anything. All right. Do you?
No.
I think
He's
he's trying to
saying
say
that
like
maybe
you
Herbert
can't
would
always
come onto
predict
the
a good
Giants and
player because he can't always predict a good player. Yeah, he was being sarcastic. So Marco, your whole theory was wrong.
No, he's saying that's not what he's saying. Trust me, I know what he's saying. He's saying you never know what's going to happen. We could have taken Herbert and he could have got injured.
No, I think you're wrong. I think he's saying
you are, you know, but
Marco,
where is the
Marco, I let you talk. Now let me talk. All right. He just said I was being sarcastic. So I think he's saying, hey, Will, don't feel bad that we lost out on Herbert. We got this running back for 1 year. I think the whole thing was a joke. I don't think he was so much saying – he said I was being sarcastic.
I'm going to delete that comment. Hold on.
Yeah. So, Duran, I know that I actually got what you're saying. He's like – it's like, you know, hey, look, he's slow, but he's small. It's like funny. It's like a double negative. Will is right. Marco.
You know what? Hold on.
And you know what pisses me off, Marco, about this?
Box. Put him in the bathroom.
You know what pisses me off about this, Marco? You like didn't even say I think or I believe what he's saying. You're like, Will, you're wrong. Mute button. Shut up, and you're wrong.
Exactly.
You're wrong. I feel like Stephen A. Smith here. Jack, jump in. Well, and you guys are laughing at me, making fun of me when I'm questioning what he's saying. I'm the only one that understood the damn guy.
I was just going to disregard it because I didn't get it.
You know what? I think he's wrong. How about that? That's not what he meant.
Do you know why I called him Flip Wilson, by the way?
Yeah.
Flip
Why?
Wilson.
Because he flipped all the time.
Because he did backflips.
Do you know who Flip Wilson is?
He is a dancer and a singer, I believe.
He was an old-timey, maybe a song and dance. I was going to say a comedian as well, but yeah, an old-timey entertainer from back when Marco was growing up. But
yes. Back in the day.
Back when Jermaine Johnson was only 15. Wow, it just started storming out here. Yeah. So any other questions, any other thoughts, comments? We got a couple of weeks left. Still hearing no rumors about really any teams, what they're going to take. I'm waiting for Jacksonville to come out with some sort of a friggin' indication, but everyone just thinks they're taking Hutchinson. Here's a take. I don't think Thibodeau makes it past.
Oh, look at this comment that came in. So what? I am correct.
No, you're not. He's agreeing with what I said. He was being sarcastic.
What are you talking about?
Marco, you just cut me off. You just cut me off to be wrong again. You just cut me off to prove that you're wrong again. What Duran?
Will you stop with telling him he's right?
What Duran was saying was, don't be upset about missing on Herbert. We got freaking David Wilson. Joking that we missed on both of them. So what he's saying is, I'm right. Holy hell. What was I in the middle of saying? Okay, here's my take.
We were doing a summary.
Thibodeau is not going to fall to number 5. I think the Giants fans should put it out of their head. I think he's either going to go 2, 3, or 4. What do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't be shocked if he falls to 5, but I do think he goes to one of those top 4 teams.
Marco, what do you got?
Well, you're only saying that he's not going 1, so.
No, I don't think I think he's going 2, 3, or 4.
He's not going to be there. I don't know.
What do you guys think about Connor's question?
What's Connor's question? Would you accept the 2 Saints first rounders for 5 or 7? They might want to leapfrog. So what do they have? Like 2 late team picks, like a 16, like a 17 and a 19 or something?
16 and 18, I believe. I would not do the 5. I'd take my tackle if they want it for the 7, and I had no other offers. If they wanted it for the 7, I had no other offers to get a pick next year, which is what I want. I'd rather not do the Saints pick if I have other offers on the table. I would do it. If Thibodeau's gone, I would do that trade.
The Saints have no first next year. They have 16 and 19 this year. So you could grab yourself like Linderbaum and like Jermaine Johnson and your offensive tackle. I mean, that's a sick draft.
Yeah.
Or you take, Nakobe Dean or Lloyd or McDuffie, a really good defensive player, maybe another offense, maybe Zion Johnson or something. So
that would be both cool. Do it, but not 5. You do 7.
I don't think any player is worth the 7 in this draft. I've been through this before for the Giants, other than those 5 guys. which is the 3 tackles, Thibodeau and Hutchinson. I don't think anybody is worth the 5 and the 7. Maybe Sauce. I just don't like taking corners. I'd be okay with Sauce. I'd be okay with Hamilton at 7 if he's supposed to be that good. And we got our tackle at 5, but I wouldn't be in love with it. Johnson at 7, I would be a little leery, but I'd just be happy that we got an edge finally. But realistically, those are the 5 guys I think are good. If they're all gone by 7, I would trade back. I really would.
Yeah, then I would do that trade because I think the prospects are too close together from 7 to 20. That I'd rather gain another one.
Marco, you wouldn't hop on that or what?
I think loading up for next year's draft might be a wise move considering everyone else is loading
100%.
No, but we're saying if you weren't able to do that.
Yeah, if we didn't get that offer. Like if
your option is just, would you rather draft 5 and 7 or 5, 16, and 19?
Would taking a trade down, just like if we had the pick?
Yeah, what I'm saying is just these are your only 2 scenarios. You can have basically forget the 5. You can have 7 or you can have 16 and 19. What would you rather?
I would 7 or 16 and 19? 16 and 19.
Yeah, especially in this draft where it's a weak-ass top 10. There's not a big difference between who you're getting at 7 and who you're getting at 16 and 19.
I mean, the only thing about 7 is that you can get the player that you want but
right.
I'd rather go with it.
Well, in this instance, you're the GM, and so unless there's someone you're dying for at 7, what would be the biggest surprise within the top 10 picks? I'd still be shocked if Walker goes like 2, like everyone thinks they are. But who could potentially shoot up into that 10? That's a good question.
All right, how about this? Do you think a quarterback is going to go with the top 10?
That was my thing. It's like, where's this quarterback going to go? Or
that wouldn't be considered a shock. You can't ever consider it a shock. Unless
I wouldn't think it's a shock. But
no, but it could be if it's Desmond Ridder.
Yeah,
right?
I was reading that teams are liking him a lot.
He's
like it would be a shock if Willis like creeped into the top 5. Like if a quarterback went top 5, then it's like whoa. Like if he went 2.
You know who could be a shocking guy in the top 10? Because I don't think you could say it's a shock for Linderbaum or even Walker or Burks or Jermaine Johnson, because some people are mocking those, but someone that I haven't seen mocked up in the top 10 yet that could potentially happen would be like a Karl Loftus, if some people are really high on what he has to bring, on what he brings to the table. I have him at 21 overall, not in my mock, but on my board. But that could be somebody that a team says, hey, we just think he's real good against the run, real good against solid against the pass. He could bust into the top 10. Chris Olave could be another one that I don't see happening, but maybe someone has him wide receiver 2 and someone takes a receiver at 9. So I don't think these are happening. The question was what could be a shocking top 10 kind of pick. And Trevor Penning. Yeah. Trevor Penning could be, Carolina could take him. So that's another guy that I think could potentially pop into the top 10. I wouldn't bet on it, but if I had to say 3 shocking guys that would head there, I have in the 20s in my board to go in the top 10, those could be candidates.
I agree.
All right, let's
smoked the 40-yard dash.
Let's summarize today's experience where Will was wrong and we had a great time.
You got me to curse. You got me to drop an F-bomb. I hope my mic wasn't that strong to pick it up. I did it under my breath a little bit. But I told Jack before the show I was tired and cranky, and then you kept cutting me off and shutting me down and asking for a mute button. So
that's all it takes?
Yeah. It just poked me a little bit. Summary of today's show is we've got the Italian rugby team watching us.
Yes.
Maybe we can get like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders next, or maybe like something, maybe the Swedish women's curling team or something cool like that. But we're international now at this point.
Yep,
and hey, George Karlaftis, for you international people out there, is born in Greece, born and raised, came here when he was like 13. He was a big Greek water polo player over there. So I'm also part Greek. But yeah, summary, I don't know. We all want the offensive tackle. We're all hoping for the trade. I at 7 or something. I think we can get a haul if we traded one of our picks with Pittsburgh or with I guess it's a little different now. New Orleans might not be looking to move up anymore. I'm not sure. But I don't know. Anything new you guys can think of that's been happening lately?
I think that's a pretty good summary, Will.
I mean,
Stingley had the nice pro day I did not know about. So all of a sudden he's back in the top 10 conversation, as WB has pointed out.
this isn't new. This is new. We haven't talked about it, and it's kind of like deflating to all the rumors that we hear. But there was I guess they put on like last year's draft war room for the Broncos, like the inside look. And the GM of the Broncos said that he knew all along that his guy was Surtain, like for, I guess, months. Like they drafted Patrick Surtain, the cornerback. And he told his scouts not to say a word to anybody. And even though they brought in like other guys. So just to keep in mind when you see these rumors and these visits, that sometimes it's a smokescreen. Sometimes it's a smokescreen, as in this case, it was. They wanted Surtain. He was always taking Surtain, and he never said a word. So it's just interesting to kind of see all these visits come in, these rumors, and you're just you're kind of guessing what's true and what's not.
Which is why I'll leave you with this. At 5, you haven't heard a word about it. The Giants are taking Areza, the punter.
Right. That's what I was leading to.
I'll leave it there inside the 20. I'll see you guys.
Let's end it. Let's end it right there.
Sounds good. I'll punt it over to you, Marco.
All right. So next week, I'm going to try to do it. I am going to be on vacation, though.
Oh, where are you going to be coming to us from? Is that a board or is that a wall behind you?
Are you bringing it with you?
Yes,
is it a board or is it a wall?
It is a wall.
Okay. If it was a board, you could just, bring it with you. Where are you going to be coming to us? From tropical what?
From Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Oh. Hilton Head, South Carolina. Spent a month there one night.
A month there one night. Not bad.
Yeah. He's going to go meet Tuto in Italy. Yeah, he is.
Gotta catch
once Marco heard the description, the physical description, he bought himself a ticket. That's why he wasn't paying attention. He was on Expedia buying himself a one-way ticket to
what was that, 6'4", he said?
To Tuto's place. Yeah. I hope I'm not butchering that name, by the way. But all right, so Thursday we'll see you guys. Maybe some new things happen. Maybe we can open up a few more dollars worth of cap space by then.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tuto, for the.
Yeah, Marco, don't make me come to your house for that money. He gave us like $500 here.
I need some
lunch.
He
only mentioned me and you, so forget Jack. Jack comes on next time. He puts his name as Giuseppe because he wants to get in some of the money.
This is going to happen?
He comes, he's eating bread. He's got some cheese today. He's
little red wine action.
He's eating a pizza, some red wine. Yeah, he's got a mustache going. Absolutely.
Hold on. This is Jack next. Where is it? This is Jack next.
The Giants, they make it a beautiful football. It is like a good pizza. You need the ingredients, and then you put it in the oven, and you toss it in there.
All right, everyone. Peace out.
All right, guys. Later.